about House Bill 2263, and that was passed in the 2015 legislative session. And this bill has two parts to it, an affordable housing component and a cultural access program. Before I kind of dive into the details of what that means, the decision that you have before you...
Oh, good. I was going to say we have to make a decision. Go ahead.
Yes, the decision that you have before you is you have until October 9th of this year to decide whether you want to put to a vote of the people a sales tax countywide to fund affordable housing and related behavioral health services, and or a property or sales tax for a cultural access program that includes mandatory support to public schools, cultural access. So there's two parts of it. Yep. If you choose not to do this in Thurston County, then it automatically reverts to the cities, and they can then choose one or both components of that bill. And so
that will then affect only the municipalities.
Yes,
that right?
that is correct. City of Olympia is interested in pursuing the affordable housing piece of the bill through the home fund. It was initially a levy. It's now a sales tax proposal that they are considering putting on a special election ballot in February. But that's dependent upon you have first right of refusal on this particular bill.
2 seconds.
Questions? That's fine.
This all started with Chris Rackdown and a bunch of them on the floor under the Champions of Local Government Caucus, and it popped out as HB 2263 as a chance to bring some money to the county for arts and for housing.
Can you further?
What did you say?
Arts, not
arts. Oh, I thought you said
further
arts.
Define cultural access.
Yes. So it's pretty broadly defined, but it has to benefit young people through the school portion. So it could be through educational, historical, enrichment, arts and culture. So programs like perhaps the Hands-On Museum or the Washington Center for Performing Arts, those type of organizations would benefit from the cultural access.
Include the brewery thing that the guy always wants to do, Ron. That's been part of it.
The city of Seattle put on the ballot yesterday.
How did it turn out?
It's failing.
75%.
And it's based on
failing.
it's 55%.
55-45.
And it was based on this bill. It's a cultural access for children, so that failed.
And did they do it as sales tax or a levy?
So I believe it's sales tax.
Sales tax, yeah. I have to say right off the bat, I'm opposed to sales tax increases, and the reason I'm opposed to it is because I think it kills our economic engine. The more you keep adding sales tax to those spending. So is there another way? I mean, that's my preference is another way, and you said there was two ways?
So let me talk about the affordable housing piece for a second. The affordable housing piece must be a sales tax. The way the bill is written, they do not allow you to do a property tax for that portion. So that's 1/10 of 1%, and 60% has to be for the construction of new affordable housing to benefit vulnerable populations such as veterans, domestic violence victims, children, and family. The other 40% can go towards mental health, behavioral health services, like permanent supportive housing, treatment centers, things like the BHO type of supportive services provides. So that, and it does have to, it is not a councilmatic, it has to, it can go general or special, but it has to, it has to pass by the people.
Yeah, by the people, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the sales tax, affordable housing is sales tax only.
Yes.
But the other one is?
The other one you have an option. So it's this, you could do 1/10 of 1% for cultural access to create a cultural access program, and 1/10 of 1% to do the affordable housing program. You can also do less than that. It's written as up to 1/10 of 1% for both. So the cultural access program allows counties to choose which method they'll utilize.
But both sales tax.
The cultural access program allows you to do property tax.
Property tax, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta ask a question as we move forward on this. How are we gonna staff the new correctional facility if we build that annex or add-on?
Flex unit?
Yep, the flex unit. How are we gonna come up with funding to staff that?
It has to come from the general fund.
Yeah. Where are we gonna get the money though? I mean, it's gonna have to take a 1/10% sales tax towards law enforcement?
Sales
What?
tax, yeah, you might have to do a public safety.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. To me, I see those as conflicting interests. I see one as killing economic engine, and the other as a have to because of litigation. And I see that the homeless issue is an issue, but it's much more a municipal issue than it is a rural America issue where the voters in the county reside. And so that's just kind of where I'm at.
But you're saying the sales tax is an economic dive.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what the purpose is, it's an
Well,
economic dive.
that's right.
One's a
And so you can
mandatory
only-
kind of,
Yep.
but it's still economic dive.
Yes, it is. I agree with you, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can see something like the more we put on the sales tax burden, the less likely we're gonna attract that auto mall out at 93rd and I-5. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing that as an example.
And that is a good, just to go back quickly to the budget conversation we had earlier. And here in 2019, we have a line item to $1.8 million as an additional expenditure to fund the operations of the flex unit. That by itself disseminates the budget.
Yeah,
So
it
the-
zeroes it out in a few
Well,
years.
leading
doesn't it?
to that decision in 2019, there's going to be a couple of options: generate additional revenue somewhere, or start cutting
Yeah.
services
Other places.
other places.
Yeah.
So because that, as you're stating, is a mandate, and I think we exposing ourselves if
To
we don't do
liability.
anything on creating additional capacity still.
Yep.
Without Robin or Denise here, can you tell us what 1/10% sales tax will generate?
It's about $4 million per year.
There you
$4
go.
million per year.
That's been consistently said.
Thank you, Robin.
Also, you have not had a history of passing a sales tax in this county, countywide,
Yep.
in I don't know how many years. Like,
At least 16.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, are you serious?
Oh, yes.
Well,
Holy
It's Kathy.
moly.
Kathy and I have had this discussion already.
It's,
But don't you see, Gary, a sales tax and a property tax as do you see property tax as an economic killer?
yeah, I do. I mean, I don't like it.
See, any tax is a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least the sales tax is user paid. You don't have to buy your stuff.
I see that we, getting back to that 15%, 85% split
Yeah.
that the legislature put in place, that we have to deal with, the benefit going to the municipalities.
Yeah.
I see the municipalities as having to pick up a lot of these social issues that we would normally deal with that come about because of growth management. Because growth management encourages that growth in the urban core. And because of that, I think that's why that 15-85% split is in place. I can't give you the exact
We can't
history
fight
of
that.
it. And we can't fight it. It's too big of a deal to deal with.
Yeah.
So I think the responsibility, along with the revenue, goes to those jurisdictions that get the money.
You may consider also thinking in terms of your hat of the Board of Health, because wearing your hat
Yeah,
as
I
a
am.
Board of Health is the whole county.
Mm-hmm.
And some components of this bill aligns to your responsibilities within the Board of Health.
I realize that.
So I understand that to a certain extent from the perspective of Board of County Commissioners, unincorporated areas, but as a Board of Health, you have a larger obligation.
Right, but my strategy is to move that population into the urban core where growth management originally wanted it to go in the implementation of growth management in 1992.
But what you just said, though, if we were to allow the cities to carry that weight of the tax, which generally passes in the cities for the housing and the mental health and such, as the BOH, can we access some of that money that stays at the city and use it for county mental health and stuff?
It goes back to the October 9th decision point that you need to make. Because if you don't,
absolutely already too late, because
It's-
tomorrow,
it's
the day
too
you
late,
gotta
so-
submit the ballot.
yeah, October 9th, if you choose not to take any action, the jurisdiction will go on their own.
Yeah.
Right.
And then whatever taxation will remain within the municipal boundaries.
Right, it remains within the municipal, they tax it.
Yeah.
And they get, which means they get to keep it.
Right.
But if they're using it for mental health and such, as the Board of Health, can we go in and access any of that money for
No.
BHO?
Wishful thinking.
You know, I want to talk, just quickly mention, because I think we all sat there the other day in the Park Summit. And as those other jurisdictions that do have money talked about number of personnel they had for their mission in that particular arena. And I think it was, we've got 6 or something like that in our park staff. Tumwater's got 32 and Lacey's got 40 something and Olympia's got 70. It just shows where the revenue is, and I think we need to continue that. We're going to be not doing that well financially because of the way the tax structure is set up, and I just don't want to take on the responsibility of trying to solve society's ills without the revenue to do so, and that's why I want it all shifted.
Well, this is revenue.
I know, but I want to shift the responsibility and to those jurisdictions
So I'm
that
gonna
have the
put you in a
revenue.
box for a second.
Okay.
And ask Schelli to explain where we're at in housing as a whole, not just downtown Olympia,
Yeah.
and how this could help countywide, if possible, because it is part of our, what's the word I'm looking for, mandate or whatever you want to say, it's part of public health and social services.
I'm
So
ready.
we have a housing thing there.
Yes.
So without any revenue, you're just going to get the status quo. And then we're not always good or bad on where we're at in housing, but if you want to do better,
Well, I'm more interested in moving that population that's in need to the municipalities. That's just kind of where I'm at,
relocate them.
to the municipalities. That's what growth management calls for. 1992, they put that in place.
I'm intimately aware of that.
I'm in line with growth management. So, go ahead. I mean, I'm ready for Schelli to give me an option, but I'm just putting my philosophy
I'm just
out.
making a case that you signed up and was elected to do some housing under public health and social services, and you're saying, I just want to default to this other way of doing things.
That's kind of where I'm
and
going.
neglect.
So what you're saying is we need to set up the infrastructure to transport folks with these needs to the urban area, then where they get the
Let's
services.
tell Cheryl Selby that.
Oh, you betcha. That's why they're not in the league. That's why they're not signed up for the law enforcement assistance conversion. Because the police were afraid of all the people downtown Olympia. So we need to funnel them somehow to the services.
I don't think we're gonna do that. So how do we, kind of give us an idea, if all of us have been thinking in the hat, you or whatever, as far as what's the best way to help with, I guess, homelessness in this way and housing as a whole for what HB 2263 is designed to do, I guess. Just
Well-
any general thoughts, they don't have to be specific.
There's absolutely more revenue needed. I think Thurston County is facing an affordable housing crisis and a growing homeless crisis, and the county does have a responsibility for that, and that's through PHSS, our housing program, and the funds that we get through document recording fees and the federal funds that we receive that promote capital dollars and that helps fund new construction and new economic development in Thurston County is seriously threatened right now. So we have very little opportunity to do anything to be able to move that needle to increase affordable housing. So this particular funding isn't, while it is for vulnerable populations and that includes homelessness, it is not exclusively for that. And so that's just one other way to look at it, because I think the rural areas of Thurston County desperately also need affordable housing, and there's a great number of low-income children and homeless children living in our rural Thurston County areas. So just kind of something to keep in mind. As Commissioner Hutchings experienced in the Community Investment Partnership decision, there was not enough money to fund the needs. And so we as a community are sort of stuck without any kind of new revenue to be able to address this issue. So the intent of this legislation was to give counties an option to do something. The last time they'd done that was through document recording fees of 2060 and 2163. That has had some improvements as the economy has picked back up. So there's been more revenue generated, but it's still not sufficient. We have a big gap in our community. So this is one way to do it. As far as whether it is feasible and likely to pass is another issue. There's also in this session this year, there was some legislation to improve this because a lot of counties have had difficulty with this. This was, you can tell with the cultural access and the housing together and the mental health, it was a compromise. They were trying to get a lot done, and a lot of counties have had difficulty with it requiring majority vote of the people and some other kind of issues. So there were some technical fixes to make it easier proposed this year, but those died. So there could be other opportunities going forward in the next session, but I don't know of anything that's being proposed at this time exactly. So,
But I'd like to add one statement. If nothing else, the gap of creating housing is the prime mover in all the economic development. I mean, you got to build a concrete, the house, all the things that come into that, it still meet at least some of the needs. So this is what this is all about. And even though it's affordable or low rate market, that's what it was designed to do.
yeah,
I don't disagree with a thing that Schelli has just said, other than we don't have proper tools to deal with the problem, the same as the municipalities do.
Well, we don't have the supportive citizenry
And
that will vote in a.
The rural voters are not going to vote for this.
No, they won't.
That's the bottom line.
Especially ours.
And we're up against the clock
Yeah, tomorrow.
tomorrow, so I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer for me.
Well,
Yeah.
I know where I'm
part
at,
is,
but
we have to make a decision to say no, which I think we already said, so that the cities can go forth.
yeah.
And so
Okay.
by doing that in a way also, you are making a statement about your support of the city's pursuing affordable housing. So this is kind of a way in which you can still.
We'll show them support, we'll bring them customers.
Along with the support for their process, they will automatically get customers.
By default, people are going to have to.
They're going to have to
get
do
that
it.
way.
That's exactly
They'll
right.
be driven that way.
Yeah. I mean, I could use an analogy like you've got a soup line in Olympia.
No, you just build it and they will come.
And
That's
you
what's
don't have a
major.
soup line in the county. When people are hungry, they're going to come to the soup line. I mean, that's the bottom line.
So I think it's obviously it's way too late, but I think the no action is going to send the message to the
Sure,
cities.
but you're going to
But down the road, I will encourage you as a board of health,
health.
as a board of health, to start thinking in terms of the obligation that we have to those areas.
I do. I think about it every day. I'm going to move them downtown.
Make it move down.
Just so you know where I'm at.
And I'm just saying, that may be a strategy, but still the need is going to be there.
The need's going to be there, but until the legislature.
I don't think we call that health
Yeah.
by relocating people. That's not health minded.
Well,
No, not
it's
relocating.
reality.
That's
But we
engineering.
provide
That's a different kind of
transportation.
engineering.
Undergrowth management, that is social engineering.
Yes.
That's what
And
it's
I know
all
you didn't
about.
write that.
I know I didn't write it, but we got to live by
My point is
it.
you're a board of health person, not a re-engineering
I
of
know.
social issues here. So
No, but it's already written.
Logistically,
You gotta be
with all
better
the
than
respect,
Oh, the tax-
logistically that will be impossible to take homeless children that live in the rural area and now say because
And
of
where
your,
is your
of your
heart?
economic condition, we're going to transport you to downtown Olympia.
Well, I'm just saying that taxing authority, the way things are put together,
yeah.
I'm dealing with reality and I don't mind talking about it. I don't have to like it.
Well, I like you standing up for it, but you can't just say that. You got to think about health.
Well,
That's what you're signed up to do.
I am, the soup line.
You didn't sign
remember?
up to do board of
Yeah, I
board of
did.
management stuff.
I signed up to fight, make hard, tough decisions on priorities. That's where I'm at.
Okay,
And I'm willing to do it.
I see that. But what about the health?
And I'm not for taking sick,
Soup line.
hungry, homeless kids and moving them to the city of Olympia. But I'm for assisting moms and dads to transport 'cause a lot of them don't have
What
cars.
do you mean about transport? Literally?
Oh, no, we're gonna drive them, no, but like, with like inner city transit, somehow
No.
improve something so they can get to the services that are being provided in the urban areas that we don't have and we can't provide. Somehow,
That's
to
what you
assist
were
them.
elected to do, to help out that way,
Sure.
not necessarily relocate people downtown.
Yeah, I'm not looking to relocate, I'm looking to help them get to where the doggone services are, so they can get help.
Ain't gonna
With
happen.
all due respect, I think you're negating the obligation.
I
that you
agree
have
it's
as a
not
Board
gonna
of Health.
happen, but dang, it, that's what these people are begging for in South County.
But you're a county, you gotta think county. You're thinking centric, urban.
The state legislature didn't give us much leeway when they enacted
Well,
laws.
I got that.
Whether it's taxing or social planning that they put together.
I'm still looking at county, and I'm looking at county, helping the county folks get their resources.
But sometimes
get
they said
back.
resources to them.
Poverty is disproportionately affecting families and kids in the rural areas more than anywhere else in the county. So it is something that
Yes.
we need to find a way to address. And the HUD-McKinney-Vento Act does require that kids stay in their home school. So, for example, if they are from Yelm and they become homeless and they're staying in shelter in downtown Olympia, then the school district is required to pay unfunded with no federal sources to transport those kids to their original school back and forth every day between wherever they're residing and their school, because that stability improves academic success for the kids.
So what are we currently
it's-
doing to support our school district in the rural area in Rochester and Tenino and Rainier and Yelm? What are we doing to support them in the food banks? That gets some services
Well,
to the kids out there that need some help.
I can comment on that a little bit. I know out at Yelm, I'm a little more familiar with that, obviously, but we had to put showers and food programs in the schools and washers and dryers and that kind of thing, so that when these kids came to school, we gave them a shower, we wash the clothes, we do clothes drives in the
Now you're
community.
thinking help.
Yeah.
Well, I know that, but I mean, you deal with it the best way you can deal with it, with very limited resources. So we wash their clothes, we give them a shower, we give them breakfast, and we send them home in clean clothes. Then we wash the dirty clothes, and it
You didn't
repeats
take them to
itself.
Olympia to do that, did you?
No,
Well,
I'm
we
not,
could go
I'm
to
not
Olympia.
advocating that we haul them anywhere. I'm just saying you have to work within the social net that you have the ability to deal with. And so the school didn't get extra money to do this, but we had to do it because you can't take that kid that is hungry, stinky, and put him in a classroom, and it could, because he disrupts the learning experience for every other kid.
Why wouldn't you
in
want
the
to build a
classroom.
funding mechanism to help in the rural area? Now, I say 2263 is not going to make it, I get that.
No,
But at
it's
least
just
in the
not gonna make
future-
it.
In the future, start thinking about.
Oh, sure, but
And
this,
beat the hell out of GMA.
but this is
Beat them
not
at their
the
game.
answer.
Oh,
This
I
is-
got
No,
that.
and I
have-
think
we have programs already
yeah,
that
you're right.
support them.
We're not talking about.
It's too late for you to
Yeah, we
take
know.
an action related to House Bill 2263.
You gotta.
But I think with all the respect, you as a Board of Health have the obligation to start thinking as to how you're going to be meeting the needs of the community.
Oh,
in
sure.
the rural areas.
We'll help the school put a
And
washer
that
and
is-
dryer in
And
there.
that is really in a way, your obligation as a Board of Health.
And where are you
members.
going to get the money for that?
I know that.
Or we help the organizations, nonprofits like YWCA and the other bank, those kind of organizations
Sure.
that go out in the rural areas and help single moms and such with feminine products and soaps and showers and shampoo. We support those programs that are already set up to go out and help these people. Because we can't go out and do it. We don't have the money.
What is better
your
is for them to
job.
have their own house and their own washer and dryer and things.
That's
So they can
the
afford
best.
it.
But then you need to get people that are responsible. Most of the parents that I'm talking about are those kids. Never fed them over the weekend because they were busy drinking and
Well, I can't help that,
doping
parent.
and all that
That
kind of
doesn't mean you
stuff.
have to
So I
do
mean,
it.
there's a lot of social issues that come into play here.
Absolutely.
All right. What do we need?
Wow. Take these doggone cookies out. Feed the people, so I don't eat these damn things. Good grief.
That's the 1822.
Now that
Yeah.
that give
Take
you
it over to
heartburn.
City Hall.
What?
That give you heartburn. So
Which is a shame,
just to
right?
conclude the conversation, House Bill 2263, I see there is no action.
Oh, there's action.
The action is no action.
No action.
No
There
action.
you go.
There's no action.
Yeah.
I think
But
you
you need to
to
write a note or letter to tell, especially Olympia, because they're trying to put something on the ballot, so they.
Are the other jurisdictions trying something, do you know?
They could, but haven't yet, so.
You know, anybody
I
else?
haven't heard anyone else.
Olympia's got they got the biggest part of the problem too. I mean, they do have a problem. Not that we don't, but they have the most likelihood of passing funding to deal with that problem as
Well,
well.
with the funding, they'll build more resources and such, and so it's draw more people.
That's exactly what's gonna happen.
And they'll say, wait a minute.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So, I'm asking you, do we have everything we think we need to close this part of the conversation off, I guess? You or Romero, that's 2263. It just needs to be a one-liner or two-liner, I guess, so they officially know.
and we have to send to all the jurisdictions, not just Olympia.